Close your eyes. I want you to imagine a darkness so absolute, so heavy, that you can physically feel it pressing against your skin. The sun is gone. The moon has vanished. The stars have been wiped from the sky. Your smartphone screen? Dead. The electricity grid? Fried. For 72 hours, the entire world is plunged into a suffocating void. The air becomes thick, laden with a pestilence that burns the lungs. And outside your locked door, it's not just quiet, it's hunting season. The prophecy warns that demons are prowling the streets, mimicking the voices of your terrified children, your spouse, your parents, begging you to just open the door, just a crack. But if you do, you die. The only thing standing between you and this abyss is a single 100% blessed beeswax candle. This is a scenario of the 3 days of darkness. It is currently exploding across social media, terrified whispers in forums, and heated debates in church basements. It is the ultimate horror story for the faithful. But here is the twist. Here is the thing that nobody is talking about. What if I told you that the most terrifying secret about this prophecy isn't whether it will happen in 2024 or 2025? The secret is that, in a very specific, terrifying way, it already has. And the key to understanding it doesn't lie in the future. It's hidden in plain sight, buried under thousands of years of dust in the book of Exodus. To really understand what's coming, we have to stop looking forward, we have to look back. But first, we have to deconstruct the panic. We need to take apart the modern myth that keeps you up at night. This specific narrative, the candles, the demons, the sealed windows, it didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's a very specific, detailed warning about a global chastisement. If you trace the breadcrumbs, they almost always lead back to one woman, Blessed Anna Maria Taigi. She was a Roman mystic, a wife, and a mother who lived in the early 19th century. And the vision attributed to her is cinematic in its horror. She reportedly said, "There shall come over the whole earth an intense darkness lasting 3 days and 3 nights." She warned that the air would be poisoned, claiming the lives of the enemies of religion. She set the rules. No man-made lighting, only blessed candles. And then the internet took over. Over the decades, other names got attached to this narrative. Marie-Julie Jaheni, a French stigmatic, supposedly added that all of hell would be emptied upon the earth. The story mutated. It became more graphic. It became a zombie apocalypse movie with a religious veneer. But here is the first crack in the foundation. Here is where we have to put on our detective hats. When historians and theologians actually open the archives, the picture gets blurry. The core prophecy of darkness is there with Taigi, sure, but the blockbuster movie details, the demons mimicking voices, people dropping dead the second they glance at a window, those details likely didn't come from the saints. They are what scholars call accretions, layers of rumor, legend, and fear, added by other people over decades. We are terrified of a monster that we, essentially, built ourselves. So, if the modern version is a remix, where is the original track? People love to throw around big names to give this story credibility. You'll hear that Street Patrick prophesied this, or Street Hildegard of Bingen in the 12th century. But when you actually read their manuscripts, the words aren't there. There is no verifiable record of Street Patrick ever warning about a specific 3 days of darkness event. It's a game of telephone that has lasted for centuries. And the biggest authority of all, the Catholic Church itself. The institution that beatified Anna Maria Taigi has never, not once, officially endorsed this prophecy. If you go to the Vatican's website right now and search 3 days of darkness, you get nothing. Zero. That doesn't mean it's fake. It means it is private revelation. It means the church says, be careful. They point to 1 John 4:1, test the spirits. Because fear sells and fear distracts. So if the viral TikTok version is a distortion, does that mean the whole thing is a lie? Absolutely not. The 3 days of darkness is real. It is historically grounded. But to find it, we have to leave 19th century Italy and go back 3,500 years to the banks of the Nile River. We have to go to the book of Exodus. This is the archetype. This is the source code. Moses is standing before Pharaoh. This isn't just a political dispute. It is a war of gods. Pharaoh isn't just a king. He claims to be the son of Ra, the sun god. He claims to control the light itself. So when Pharaoh refuses to let the Israelites go, God doesn't just send a storm. He sends a direct challenge to Pharaoh's theology. Let's look at the text in Exodus 10, the 9th plague. God tells Moses to stretch out his hand, and a darkness spreads over Egypt. A darkness, the scripture says, that can be felt. Stop and think about that phrasing. The Hebrew word used here implies substance. This wasn't just a solar eclipse. This wasn't a sandstorm. This was a supernatural heaviness. It was oppressive. It was a darkness that touched you. It paralyzed an entire civilization. The text says, no one could see anyone else or move about for 3 days. Imagine the psychological terror. The most powerful empire on earth, frozen in place. Commerce stopped. Travel stopped. Just millions of people sitting alone in a palpable, suffocating blackness, realizing that their sun god, Ra, had been assassinated by the god of the slaves. But here is the detail that unlocks everything. This is the detail the modern conspiracy theorists miss. Exodus 10:23 says, "Yet all the Israelites had light in the places where they lived." Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say the Israelites had really good beeswax candles. It doesn't say the Israelites had stocked up on flashlights. It says they had light. It was supernatural. It was a divine demarcation line. In the house of the Egyptian, terror and darkness. Next door, in the mud hut of the slave, the brilliance of God's protection. This wasn't a global apocalypse. It was a surgical strike. It was God saying, I can distinguish between those who are mine and those who are not. So why did this happen? What was the point? It wasn't just to scare people. It was a dismantling of the Egyptian worldview. It was God proving that the light of the world, the sun, the economy, the political power of Pharaoh is nothing compared to him. It was a physical manifestation of a spiritual reality. Egypt was in moral darkness, so God gave them physical darkness to match. Now, let's bridge the gap. How did we get from this historical event in Exodus to the modern doomsday predictions? It's a mashup, a remix. People have taken the specific duration, 3 days from Exodus, and they have smashed it together with the apocalyptic imagery of the book of Revelation. In Revelation 6, the sun turns black like sackcloth. In Revelation 16, the kingdom of the beast is plunged into darkness. These are real biblical prophecies about the end times. But, and this is critical, none of those verses mention 3 days. That number is unique to the Exodus account. So, the modern prophecy is a hybrid. It's a mix of history, hallucination, and theology. But does that mean we dismiss it? No. We extract the truth. The secret of the 3 days of darkness isn't about hoarding candles. It's about understanding the nature of God. The lesson of Exodus is that there is a fundamental division in the universe. Light and dark, truth and lie, God and the world. The prophecy teaches us about judgment. God is not blind to evil. He will confront the darkness of this world. It teaches us about protection. The Israelites didn't create their own light. They received it. The light wasn't a survival tool. It was a relationship status. And that brings us to the ultimate point. The real preparation for darkness isn't physical. It's spiritual. You can fill your basement with beeswax candles, but if your heart is full of fear and resentment, you are already in the dark. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." That is the only candle you need. The 3 days of darkness is a reminder that when the systems of this world fail, when the sun goes out, when the economy crashes, when the screen goes black, the only thing that remains is your connection to the divine. The story of Egypt isn't a threat. It's a promise. It's a promise that even when the world is pitch black, God knows exactly where His people are. He has drawn a line, and if you are on His side of the line, you don't need to be afraid of the dark. You are the light. If you want to understand more about how biblical history is being weaponized in the modern day, make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to know what the Day of the Lord actually means, without the fear-mongering, click on this video right here. Stay in the light, and I'll see you in the next one.